Hello everybody, it is I, the Great Taco, back with another mock review. So, this one is Dromideus, and he is an Omega-Magna. So this is the first mock review from Omega-Magna. So, without further ado, may as well get into the actual build itself. But I'm not going to start with this part of the build, I'm going to start with the stand. So, I built this because I wanted a base for him, mainly because I thought, like, it's hard to visualize what kind of landscape he would live in. So I thought this was a good kind of means to do that. It's the first system build I've had here. I just used a 16x16 base plate and made it happen. This flock canister mask is literally only held on. It isn't held on by anything, it's just kind of hanging on this flame thing here. So yeah, and the reason there's a Skakdi head here is because Dromideus' kind of title is the Skakdi hunter, so that's a thing. And then he has this, he have shotgun shells scattered throughout. You'll see why that is in a second. So I'm going to the man himself. So I'm actually going to start with his weapons first, since the build is, yeah, I don't know. I would like to start with the weapons this time. So the sword, I just use a 2015 Tahu sword with the actual, I mean, I didn't get this from the set, but I have the original colored attachment in, and this is what it looks like without it. Just kind of when he's not, just keep it in, but when he draws it, this would activate. So that's the thing. And I have a different attachment method. For this director to disassemble the weapon, stick it through an axle on his hand here. I'll get to that when I get to the build, or I'll show you that when I get to the build. But like, yeah, it actually attaches firmly to the hand and it's not going to flop around anywhere like the other weapons that I built. So all around, pretty simple sword. It's kind of like a claymore. So think Cloud in Final Fantasy or whatever. Then his other weapon is a shotgun. So I'm gonna. So you gotta get a taste for how the weapon attaches here. This is what it kind of looks like. It got these little purple bits on the bottom here for kind of, because he has some purple scattered throughout, not really throughout, but he has some purple on him. So this was kind of, I wanted to kind of show this kind of energy source that he has. And I imagine in universe this would be able to come off and be used as a grappling hook, because he is loosely based off of Doomguy, so this would take the place of like the meat hook. Because I don't have, yeah, because that's what it would be really. And as you might have seen a second ago, this shotgun can indeed break. You can't load it, but it can break. So I'm actually very proud of that. This is one of my favorite parts of the mock here. So moving on to Dromideus himself. He's very finicky with his hands because of the armor I used, but we'll get to that when I get to his arms. So to start with the legs, the top is actually, it's not a thing I've done before, but I use the double socket CCBS bones. I don't think, well, no, I haven't used these before, never mind. On Kyoto I've used these before, but I put a friction around there to add some extra length. And then I just put a Roxy leg on here, and then a Roxy foot for extra like padding to kind of make him a little more bulky. Then just use Mata feet. And his other leg is actually different, but only in color. It's just yellow instead of black in gunmetal. And for the torso, this is actually the same design I used on Tivolta, only I added a little more. So there's a little attachment on the back here to kind of give him a little more armor around the waist, also to give him a little more color. Then up top, this is my favorite part of the build, is this Speedor shell, which is only held on by a rubber band, so I don't think that's a legal connection, but it looks cool anyway. It's kind of easy to knock around, but I don't really do that much with them, so it's never really that big of a deal. But it looks really good as like chest armor, kind of fills out that area there where it would otherwise be pretty thin. And for the arms, it's basic CCBS on both sides, so just black and yellow. This is just the Evo armor from Breakout, because not only the color works well, but the printing itself on it works really well for the texturing of him. And then I have tires here to fill out the main arm section. And then you can see, sorry, I'm gonna get a weird angle here. This is how weapons kind of attach to his arm, to his hand. You only get one axle in there, so this axle would attach to the hand. Then, for example, is the sword. Kind of just like slide this through there, and it attaches really well. So it's definitely more of a connector piece than anything, or it is a connector, but so that's really its only purpose. Usually, if I have him with nothing in his hand, I'll just remove that because it looks a lot better without it. So, in general, his hands are very simple. I made his thumb actually a lot shorter, or used a different piece for his thumb, so that it would be a little more, I don't know, it just worked better with the general anatomy of him, because he's supposed to be more like a humanoid, or more similar to a humanoid, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, more humanoid than Toa anyway. And his other arm is actually different. I have the upper arm is exactly the same in terms of like the build, like the core of it. So if I remove this shoulder pad, it's exactly the same. But this is here to kind of armor up this arm, because this is his melee, his other means of melee combat. So the lower arm, the bone is exactly the same with the tires and whatnot. But instead I'm just going to remove this for a sec so I can get a better look at it up close. This is literally a brain attack armor piece with a blade on it. And that kind of works as like kind of a stabby thing if he can't draw his sword in time. And that's actually why his body is asymmetrical, is because I want to have this, and also I don't have two of these. So one side's like darker, one side's more yellowish. And his hand is actually different as well. He has a gray thumb instead of a yellow thumb. It's a minor difference, but it's there. And for the kind of the last, actually maybe I'll get to his head before I get to the flamethrower. His head is just a brain attack head, because I don't have the Glatorian head in this color yet. Once I do get one, I'm going to swap it out, because it doesn't look great. Especially because the fact like you can see through it and there's no eyes. This is like an axle, so yeah. But for the actual flamethrower, this is the last weapon here. I'm going to remove this as well. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it. But this can articulate super well. You kind of get this really nice 360-degree movement. It can't really fold down, but you can aim up. You can kind of go every which way. And I just use Hakan's weapon from the Paraka, and I just add a bunch of stuff on it, like the little flame part. And then, of course, this little hose here would just shoot whatever to make the flamethrower work like a flamethrower, and this is just a cut flex tube. So that ended up working super well for that. You know, honestly, that's about it for him. He's pretty simple, all in all. So yeah, see ya.